Okie dokie. Hello and very warm welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for bearing with me during the delay. This tournament is actually occurring in real time, and so some delays sometimes occur. I am now in the lobby here with our finalists, Control and Arnovic. Looks like we're going to have a TVP here. That's a Terran versus Protoss. So, yep, very much looking forward to seeing how these games go. Looks like the players are just picking maps right now, so shouldn't be very long now till we're straight into the game. I can't believe we're already at the finals. My god, casting StarCraft 2 just takes no time at all, does it? Casting, like, Company of Heroes is my main benchmark. That takes forever. You know, not necessarily in a bad way, though I will say that your average game in Company of Heroes 2 is probably far too long. But anyway. Yeah, exciting stuff. Going on into the finals here. So these two players will be playing for points. They're the Go4SC2 2 points. But points do min prizes. Points do translate into genuine euros, which are pretty much the strongest currency in the land since we decided to leave Europe. Uh-oh, I started talking about politics. Abort. Quick, backtrack. Should not talk about politics on on stream. So it looks like the maps, it's going to be Newkirk second, and Habitation Station third is going to be the maps. Oh, yes! These are all my... This is like a hit list of my blasts from the past. This is going to be so exciting. So I will go ahead and bring you guys on into the game now as we are loading on in. So it looks like Echo going to be the first one. Okay, so Echo... This is one that I didn't actually get in any of the games that I started playing yesterday, so I really have no idea what this map is like. It's... well, why don't we wait until we're loaded in and then we can have a little pan around and... So, spawning in the south here, playing as the yellow Terran forces, your fantastically informed and very professional caster knows nothing about him really. It is Control! And spawning in the top left, playing as the red Protoss forces, somebody who I know exactly the same amount as the Terran player, it is going to be Arnovic. So, yep, these two fine players going to be competing here for the prestige of a Thursday Go4SC2 2 tournament win. A little bit of GLHF going on between these two guys. Always nice to have some mana. And let's keep our eyes here glued to the production tab, and that will give us some idea of what these two players are going to be looking to do. Looks like for now, Control is of the school that he wants to wall off. I guess most players... Okay, so maybe he's not going to wall off. Throwing down a barracks, has his gas coming on, so I imagine we're going to see the typical Reaper Scout. I mean, nothing screams super crazy anything to me yet. So, everything in order for these two players, pretty much like mirrored builds, really. If you think of a gateway as a barracks, and I mean these builds are super similar. Little bit of gas coming in slightly sooner for the Terran player. Why am I talking about such minor details? Weird road to the finals for both of these players, though. A couple of no-shows and a couple of free wins / walkthroughs were given. So yeah, strange route to the finals here. Strange tournament in general, actually. But that's cool. And that's why I love casting real live events, because every single time it's different. Looks like we've got a Nexus coming up here for Arnovic. Every single time it's different, you know? There's a different story, there's a different narrative, you know? There's different emotions. It's always good. That's why I like casting live events. And the texture of this tournament has been that it's been a weird one. But not too weird. Anyway. Yeah, you see, this is when it's good to have a co-caster, because there's still not really much going on. Neither is... This is the phase where if nobody's cheesing, then you get about 3 minutes at the start of most StarCraft games where there's not much you can say other than kind of what's going on. And, like, in my head there are, like, hierarchies of casting, and the level of casting where you're just saying what's on the screen or saying what's going on is the most boring, both to do and for the viewer. Like, because you're not really offering any analysis or insight or perspective or anything. But it's hard to offer those things when you are a scrub like me, and also when there's not that much going on. Looks like this command center is like slightly misplaced. It's a good thing it comes with some lift-off engines and can relocate itself. This command center just like obviously probably wants to be in the center of this area here, but it isn't. But it should be soon. Here comes the Reaper though. Oh wait, yeah. Looks like the Reaper's going to come back to deal with this probe even. So I guess that's fair enough. Boom, denies all the scouting information. Looks like Reactor was the choice. Man, look, I've got this crazy graphical glitch. This is just really weird. Maybe I need to, like, repair my StarCraft 2, because I noticed when I was playing, like, each of the races seems to have, like, one broken portrait. So with Zerg, it's the Overlord, with Terran, it's the Marine, and with Protoss, the Zealots look like these blocks. So if anyone has any idea why that is, please do tell me. So, like, we can tell that there's probably a Zealot on the queue right now, because that's what this blank is, right? Anyway. Reaper and the Adept here going to be doing their dance. Actually, it's two Adepts. Oh, a slight miss there from Arnovich is going to enable this Reaper to sneak on into the main. Going to put some damage on some probes. Nothing to write home about. I would be quite amazed if he got a probe here. But he is going to see everything, and I believe... Can we just see? Whoops. Did he see? Yeah, so, okay, he totally saw the Stargate there. So, yeah, that was a good scout there for control. He knows to expect some Stargate-type plays, and it looks like an Oracle is going to be the choice here for our Protoss player. He's going to look to get some early SCV damage done with that neutron laser beam. And I love this. I love this. I'm a big fan of Stargate openings and Oracles. I find them very fun to control, and I generally in RTS, like, I'm just one of those players who always likes to be on the front foot. I always like to be attacking. I don't mind defending, don't get me wrong, but it always feels better when you're blowing up your opponent's stuff in their base. So yeah. Looks like this Oracle is going to be coming out here, and we can see how many kills it's going to get done. Of course, the Protoss player is going to want to keep that Oracle alive because it's turbo useful later on in the game. You can get some spicy revelations down, which is basically map hacks. This Reaper is going to see it, though. The Oracle taking a direct flight path. So he knows for sure, not only is it a Stargate, but he knows for sure it's definitely an Oracle, which, I mean, he probably would have suspected it was an Oracle, but this at least... Oh, it looks like... I thought the Oracle was going to come back to kill it then. Maybe he's just going to shade on top of that guy. I feel like he could probably get away with killing that Reaper here, but anyway. We're going to see another Oracle here. No, actually, going into Phoenix now is Arnovich. Okay, very interesting. It's been quite a while since I've seen Phoenix against Terran, so very much looking forward to seeing exactly how many Phoenix we're going to see here. Stim, +1 weapons for Bio coming up. Oh, the Widow Mine! Oh, the Widow Mine of brutality. A revelation gets placed, and that is as much work as that Oracle is going to get done for now. So... I don't know, this does enable the Protoss player to see which tech labs are whirring. It does enable him to see exactly how the Terran player is assigning his add-ons to his buildings. And if Arnovich knows much about Terran play, he can make some guesses and try and predict the kind of units he'll see coming. It looks here like I would have thought Control here is almost certainly going to be going for a pretty typical-looking Terran army. I mean, he's researching Stim, right? And he's getting like +1 weapons for his bio, so this can't be anything like super far out of the ordinary. And he's playing like reasonably defensive at the moment. Looks like he might... Is he going to bring the Widow Mines in for a drop? Yeah, he's got 2 Widow Mines here. If he puts 4 Marines onto the stack here, then I imagine we're going to have a drop. He's just going to go in with the Widow Mines. Okay, cool. The Phoenix count for now looks like it's up to 4 for Arnovich. So is he stopping here? Yeah, he has stopped here and he's gone back to making Oracle. So 4 Phoenix. I guess they're looking for a medevac to come in. That's what the patrol route here is for. But the medevac's actually going to be swinging on into the south, so I don't think Arnovich is going to catch this one. Arnovich as well, grabbing his 3rd CC at this juncture. 3rd Nexus for the Protoss player, obviously, is online. So here we go. Are we going to see a Widow Mine dumped into this base, or is he going to save them both for the main? I think I like splitting them, because an Observer can really be... Oh, wait, is there an Observer? Uh-oh, there's no Observer. Oh, God, so he needs this Oracle. Okay, there is an Observer. Okay, I'm just blind. There is an Observer. Yeah, there it is, sorry. So there is an Observer, there is an Oracle. All things being equal, this really shouldn't get that much work done for the Terran player. Yeah, here come the Phoenixes, and that spells the end of this particular... Nice lift here. That spells the end of this particular poke. So, I don't know, that was like 150... That was like 250 minerals and 150 gas there for the Terran player that didn't really reap any kind of rewards. So, yeah, that pretty much, I mean, that puts the Protoss player off to a handsome lead. Also, because Protoss have the wonders of Chrono Boost, he's up at 64 workers over 49. Now, obviously, Mules will be doing some to offset that gap. And it is the Terran player with the larger army supply. We can see, let's check the unit counting station here. He is up to... So we've got 3 Siege Tank, 22 Marines, 6 Marauders with 2 Medevacs to go with that. So getting up a reasonable army. Resonating Glaive's going to be finishing up for the Protoss player just now, so we're probably going to see more Adepts mixed on into the army here, and that's going to stand him in good stead against a Bioforce. At least for now. So that's pretty cool. Was that his first pick out of the... Where is the Twilight Council? Here it is. Is that his first pick? I actually can't see, but I imagine it was. I don't think I saw any other upgrades. Also going to be grabbing some Immortals and a Robo Support Bay. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oracle comes in here and gets a fantastic revelation. Actually, even grabs the Liberators here. So that's a pretty cool revelation. Protoss player is going to know exactly if the Terran player is moving out for a committed strike anytime soon. The answer, I mean, he's probably not... You would wait for that revelation to move off. At least unless this is some kind of like Duke, or unless he just doesn't care. Let's see if we can get some follow tech on here. There we go. Here comes the follow tech, and I think we're going to actually have a fight here. As some Adept's going to try and take the high ground. Now, he does have 2 probes here, and nice force fields. Grabs a Siege Tank. But that's actually a really nice pick-up here for Arnovich. But apart from that, I mean, this Terran army sure looks a lot scarier than that Protoss army. So a little bit fearful I am here for Arnovich. He's going to fall back for now. Like, I feel like he needs at least an Immortal to help him reach the siege tanks in this fight. The Oracle just getting in a crazy bad position there. Goes down. No Revelation came down either. So, okay, looks like we're going to have another fight here. Shades come down. This will never finish. These are scouting shades. The Phoenix is getting exposed to a wee bit of fire. They really want the Medivacs. Okay, now the Engage comes down. Nice lifts on all three siege tanks. Wall of Stalkers coming in. Guardian Shield is also down. The Immortal doing grievous damage. The siege tanks have now landed, though. They weren't taken out. The Phoenixes are basically all gone. This Immortal still pounding strong, though. But the Liberators are set up. They're chalking units up. Where are those Liberators? Okay, well, they get taken out. And a fantastic fight there, taken by Arnovich. That was an amazingly nice job there, picking up the siege tanks, taking the fight with them in isolation. Once you ignore the siege tank DPS, your Stalkers can really get in and get some work done. Now he's marching across the map. He knows map control is his. He knows that the army supply advantage is his, which is true. Does he have a Warp Prism? He does not have a Warp Prism. I feel like if he had a Warp Prism, that would be the difference between a game-ending poke and a mere amount of pressure here. Now, here comes the pressure, and we're going to have to see exactly how much work Arnovich can get done. He wants to capitalize on this advantage. Going to focus down the command center? No. Okay, the SCVs get pulled. A wave of bios coming in for the defense here. A couple of Liberators with it. Okay, the Warp Prism finally arrives, and now this gets seriously dangerous for the Terran player. A load of Adepts going to swell the ranks there. I think a couple of Sentries also getting warped in. A few of them going to try and shade through to the natural, perhaps apply pressure in a different location. But this, the supply depot raise is perfect. Arnovich even allowing those shades to finish is slightly inconvenient. And I think the Protoss player, for now, just thinking better of the situation. Warp Prism actually is going to come around the rear for some harass, and I do like this. Going to start warping in this location. I haven't seen if has he got thrown down? No, okay, there's no Dark Shrine, because otherwise I imagine we'd see DTs there. But anyway, Adepts going to make their way into the main. Let's just take a look at the workers killed tab here. Arnovich getting away with 9, 10, 11. So these Adepts are actually just doing money right now. They are getting work done. Here comes a response of bio here. The Warp Prism's going to slink away, so that one's probably going to survive this. The Adepts get cleaned up, but not before they were able to do a great amount of damage. 23 workers killed there. I think that there were some Adepts in the natural there that I missed as well. Sorry about that, guys. Still getting used to casting StarCraft 2. Anyway. That was a nice poke there from Arnovich, who I have to say really flexing his muscles in this finals. I mean, so far it seems like this is a one-sided game. Arnovich getting ahead and getting further ahead. Now, 66 workers over 50, 77 army supply, under 81 actually. But Protoss units like army supply for army supply tend to be a little bit tougher, a little bit more resilient, a little bit more kind of like value condensed, I suppose, than Terran supply. Like that is a big generalization, to be fair. But basically these armies, like as near as it makes no difference, the same size. Now we might have a fight here. Looks like Arnovich is paying attention. The fight comes out. Lovely force fields. There's like half of the bio unable to join the fight. The Colossus lasering them down as they come through the choke point. Siege tank at the back here decides to siege mid-fight, and that's not going to be any use. Too many Stalkers here cleaning up all of the bio. The siege tank is left unsupported. The Medivacs actually pick up some of the units and get out. So that's something here for control, but I feel like Arnovich here is in absolute control of this game. And this is going to be so hard for control now. Look at this ragtag bunch of wounded AF geezers who are just going to try and beat this army. Like, really? I don't know. Like, extended thermal lance is totes done, by the way. So is +2 ground attack for the Protoss player. So when that Colossus slices, it really slices. And, okay, Liberator in a nice position. You know, you can never engage into Liberators if you can possibly help it. Few Adepts here going to be trying their luck getting on in. In fact, the main is also totally overrun with Adepts. This Warp Prism never shut down, comes back in, getting a load more damage done. How many workers killed now? 31. And I believe that represents the end of this game, pretty much. Whatever slim chances remained for control must now surely have been taken away by Arnovich, who is going to come on in here with the final sledgehammer assault, going to roast and toast some poor SCVs in the rear with the gear. Somebody get me a beer, because there's a load of Protoss coming to kill me. That's pretty much how they... Oh, he's going to engage into the Liberators here. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. Yeah, he's just got so many Stalkers. Blinks in, pops the Liberators, kills everything else. SCV's getting pulled here. Siege tank even in a nice position, but I don't think it will make a difference versus just this much raw Protoss aggression here. And yeah, blink to the high ground there. This bunker is going to last all of about another, I don't know, seconds. Yep, there it goes. And control is going to be forced to GG out of this game. So, wow. What a spicy game one there from Arnovich. Absolutely dominating there. And I feel like control never able to find a weak spot or a target or any kind of opportunity to get some damage in. So, ouch. Game 1 here going the way of the Protoss player. We're going to await an invite into the second game here, but damn, I mean... Ooh. I think mentally speaking, like, where even are you there? Okay, here we go, Game 2 coming up. Mentally speaking, I think if you're Control right now, they're going straight into Game 2, you know, there's no time for a tea break, he's not going to get a chance. I mean, the game's literally starting now, so I'll bring you guys in. But, I mean... Control is in one hell of a place. I feel like nothing he did that game worked. I mean, he tried to have a nice quiet opening with Terran, and he just got Protossed all over. I'm trying to think of something that went his way. But anyway, Newkirk Precinct is a completely different map. I would say it's probably easier to police yourself of warp prisms in this map because there's not so much dead airspace around the sides of your base, and the warp prisms can really only come at you from like 2 angles. So anyway, well, we'll see. Spawning in the west here on Newkirk Precinct, as playing as the red Protoss forces. Whoops! It is going to be Arnovich, who finds himself after a fantastic game 1 up in this series. Still getting the hang of these camera keys, but they're getting there now. And spawning in the east, playing as the yellow Terran forces. Presently a game down in this series, and that is actually all I know about him as a player because I'm a super professional and well-prepared caster. It is Control. So everything to play for in this series, and by everything I don't actually mean everything. The winner of this series will not be receiving a unicorn, he will not be receiving a yacht, no gold bullion, and no princess to marry. But what you will be receiving is some Go4SC2 2 points, and those points can actually translate to genuine real-world euros if you have enough of them at the end of the month. So, yep, he's going to be. How do you do follow? Is that it? Yeah, there we go. So, yep, that's going to be. That's going to be the honour that's on the line here for these two players. Now, bear in mind, there's going to be more StarCraft 2, Go4SC2 2 on Sunday with live cash prizes. That'll be Sunday at 1400 Central European Time. That's 1300 GMT. If, like me, you operate on London time. So, of course, after this series is done, if you're hungry for more StarCraft 2 action, then lucky you, because there's going to be another hearty meal on Sunday where you can greedily tuck into all the StarCraft action that you could possibly want. Now, let's take a look. I haven't had the production tab up. Let's take a look at the build here for these two players. Looks like much the same as we saw in the first game so far. Looks like Control here is going for like Reaper Scout. Where is that Reaper? He's just coming now. With a CC, reasonably fast CC. You know, this is all standard stuff from a Terran who doesn't want to do anything too berserk or insane. I thought perhaps Control, you know, after that first game, a lot of players might have been tempted to cheese, and you do have to ask yourself, am I going to cheese? In fact, to be honest, I think if I ever played professional StarCraft at any real level, I'd probably keep a dice in my pocket, or even a system of dice, so that I could be super unpredictable and just roll a dice. Like, on a 6, I cheese this game. That's probably how I'd play at the beginning of each game, because that way I am super unpredictable, and nobody can even read you, because, like, it's literally a dice. Anyway, enough about that. That's a random thought for another time. So, let's see. Okay, so second Nexus is finished now, so that's all standard stuff. Let's see what the tech is going to be. It's going to be Stargate again here for Arnovich, so pretty much a mirror of what we saw in the first game. The Adept's going to finish just now in time to give the Reaper here a little greeting here, and these two are going to do their dance as well, they always do. Whoop, Reaper comes in, Adept tries for a shot off of the high ground, fails, gets 1 hit there, gets 2 hits there, and now with good shade control, could be on for a Reaper kill here. No, okay. Nice jumps there from Arnovich. He's going to keep his Reaper alive for now. And, yeah. Let's see, so Factory has completed, Starport coming up now for Arnovich. So far looks pretty similar to the last game. He's not going for a second Factory, he's not going to try his luck with some kind of Cyclone-based all-in or anything like that. Cyclones, by the way, since the last patch, how cool have they become? Like, man, they are racking out the missiles, doing stupid damage to buildings. I saw a really good game between 2 Korean players where the Terran player was just sniping Nexuses with those Cyclones with their rocket barrages. And we saw a game earlier today where the Cyclones were doing grievous work against a Zerg player who just got absolutely just cycloned out, basically. Roach is just powerless. Like, they just don't have the DPS to deal with Cyclones in those numbers. Anyway, that was a different game. That's not what's happening now. A couple of gateways going to be coming up here. Stargate is finished. Oracle going to be the choice here. So very, very similar to Game 1 here for both players. Number of Marines coming on out of the this reactor's barracks. Looks like the factory's going to... Sorry, the barracks going to lift up, and I imagine the starport or the factory going to sub onto this reactor. No, he's actually just going to build another barracks straight onto it. Interesting, though. Why wouldn't you just put the factory on there, and then you can use the reactor whilst the barracks builds? Because now this reactor is literally going to be doing nothing for like another minute. Don't know. Anyway, here comes the Oracle, so let's see if it gets any damage now. Arnovich, a little late on the pull here. 1 SCV. 1 SCV? Any advance on 1 SCV? He's being so careful. Look at him, because he got Widow Mined out. Actually, that was the one thing that went well for Arnovich last game. The first Oracle got smote by a Widow Mine, and there is a Widow Mine there. So, okay. If you are the other player, if you are the Protoss player in this case, you can see the Widow Mine. Okay, you can't see it now. But you can see it because there's a little shadow on the ground. So, like, if you have good eyesight and if you're actively looking for that Widow Mine, the fact that it's technically an invisible cloaked unit, you can still see it. Like, so, although you can't shoot it, you can get something done. Anyway, Medevac here coming in with those Marines. Looks like Arnovich didn't want to sit back. He comes on in. Let's just check how many probes has he gotten so far. He's gotten 2 probes. No, he's gotten 4 probes. Sorry, my bad. Gets an Adept there. He's going to stay because the Phoenix are out, so there's going to be no more Medevac here. So he gets 1 Adept. He's probably going to get a second if he wants it. Photon Overcharge comes down. He does get that second Adept. So if we look at the units kill tab here, 4 workers to 2, so actually things going much better for Arnovich this game. Although, I mean, this time he's lost a Medevac and 8 Marines. Like, for 4 workers, is that worth it? Well, you decide, but if it's me, I want definitely more than 4 probes for that. So, I don't know. Let's look at the army supply here. So it's 15 to 12. And yeah, a handsome lead beginning to develop here for Arnovich, who's going to poke back in with an Oracle, wants to see what he can get done, sees the Marine count here, not high. Actually, you know what? I suppose there are missile turrets. You could have come in and killed those 3 Marines, and that would have been quite scary for the Terran player, because then they basically have no military units. Anyway, Widow Mine going to appear out here. That seems like a reasonable kind of place to put it, I guess. You know what, actually? Way back in the day in Heart of the Swarm, when this map was in the pool for the first time, I think, I put a Widow Mine in this position. I'm getting flashbacks, and I killed like 6 High Templar that would just happen to be wandering around. Like, I watched it on the replay, and I was just like, oh, I just wanted the GIF. Like, it was crazy. I don't know if it was 6. It might have been like 4 or 5, but it was still, like, made my day. Anyway, third Nexus is now online. No sign of a third CC, actually, from Control here. So that's a bit concerning. Control is going to be super far behind unless he actually makes a push and makes something happen, but I don't think he has the ingredients to do that. Like, where's the army that's going to make that happen, you know? So, yeah, I think you've got to throw down a CC here, bro. Every second that goes by without a CC getting thrown down is concerning me here for Control, because the Protoss player, I mean, look how far ahead. 58, so he's 10 workers ahead, and that's going to go even faster because he's now producing workers 3 at a time, I would have thought, or at least when he wants to be producing workers. He can make them 3 at a time. So, no doubt, a worrying position here for Control to find himself in. Arnovich with a lead here, but this isn't the kind of lead that couldn't disappear in less than a minute, you know? Like, all it takes is a couple of good engages from the Terran player, a little bit of harass perhaps, and things start looking good. So what I think I like... Okay, it looks like he's just moving out to possibly secure a CC, or is he genuinely moving out? Okay, he's actually moving out, and he's going to put down a CC behind this. Kind of like this. Kind of like this. I feel worried that he's just kind of attacking out with these units, though. I mean, like, this is a reasonable Protoss force, and if you're attacking, then you have to deal with the pylon overcharge. And against this army, that makes a big old difference. The medevacs are in this... the mines are in this medevac, so I'd love to see that medevac split off and try and get some harass done. A scan comes down, he sees the army, and Immortal's also been added into it. Let's get some zoom on here so we can get all of the units here for both players onto the screen. There they are. And it looks like the Terran player just has no interest in taking on this army. He's just going to ignore it. Going for pylons is quite an interesting idea here. Widow Mine's on the ramp, getting fantastic hits as well. He picks off the Immortal. Terran reinforcements come in, establishing a kind of a spit roast here. This army is rather surrounded, and Arnovich actually looking in a bit of a bad place. Look at the army supply, 28 under 57. Terran units having a feeding frenzy here. Getting some real damage done. Now, that pylon got some good hits in, and I feel like, okay, these Widow Mines are going to come off cooldown any second now. I feel like Arnovich should try and take the fight on the ramp here. Okay, Phoenixes are in, another hit squad of Terran reinforcements coming in. The Widow Mines take care of the rest of those Adepts. This is getting so scrappy now, so grindy. This pylon here desperately trying to come online to repower these gateways. It gets denied. A couple of Marauders here. Still enough damage there to take care of one of the pylons. If he could get this other pylon, that would be amazing. Looks like he's going to fall back now. Let's just take a look at how many workers were killed there. Not so many workers killed there, but a good amount of damage done to the army. Like, killing Immortals is good, because that takes up production cycles on the Robo Bay. So I like the kill on the Immortal there. Can we bring up like some kind of a units lost tab? Is that a thing that I can do? Or a resources lost tab would be much more useful. Okay, here we go. So yeah, we can see so far that the Terran player has been reasonably efficient. In terms of units lost, the Terran player has lost slightly more, but you would expect that. Protoss units generally cost more and have more health than Terran units. So in any fight, it's like watching Zerglings take on Marines. Even if the Zerg wins, you're always going to lose more Zerglings than the Terran player loses Marines, but it's kind of like that. But in terms of resources lost, we can see Control here being somewhat efficient. He has his third base now online, but you know, his attack here disrupted the mining at the third location for the Protoss player. So I actually quite like the position right now for Control. Here comes a slightly misguided Oracle, does get a Revelation down, but gets kind of shot down by 2 turrets. A touch careless there for Arnovich, kind of losing a little bit more here. And I think if you're Control, you have to feel a little bit happy right now. This is definitely looking much better than the last game. Ghost Academy BT Dubs is totes online. Have we actually got Ghosts in the army yet? No. But I feel like a fight taken off of the back of an EMP, a good EMP, like if this Protoss army is forced to fight without shields, I just don't see how Arnovich stays in this game. Like, it just can't happen. So anyway, here comes a Warp Prism. It's loaded up with adepts. There are missile turrets, so Arnovich, he's going to see it. He sees it. Now, is there going to be a response? He needs to get some military units on over here. The adepts are landing now. They're going for the missile turret. No, they go for the SCV, okay. And they are going to shade across. More adepts going to be warped in here. So some real work could be done here for the Protoss player. Where are they shading to? Shade into the natural, which is where these SCVs are running to. However, it's also where there's a ton of military units. More adepts are getting warped in at the back here, though. Okay, finally the Warp Prism gets seen away. And here's an interesting point, okay? So the harassment for the Terran player has basically been shut down by the Phoenixes that Arnovich has made both games, okay? Because those Phoenixes say, okay, you can come in with a medevac, but you ain't never getting your units out, and you're probably not getting that medevac out neither, okay? Now, there is a Terran unit that serves this function, and it's called a Viking, and I feel given the amount of damage that occurred in the first game, by the way, way too many SCVs here, given the amount of damage that occurred in the first game, based off of a Warp Prism being unchecked, right, I feel like getting a single Viking and having it patrol here is just wise, and maybe even a Sensor Tower. Like, I know Sensor Towers suck, but you could put one like, okay, maybe not a Sensor Tower. But I still like the idea of getting a Viking to shut the back door. He has, like, 1 starport, but it's got a reactor on it, so, you know, sparing a production cycle there is not backbreaking. Anyway, Terran Army's going to be moving out on the map. He's also got a Ninja Expand totally going on up here, which I love. I haven't seen a good Ninja Expand game for so long. Come on, Control, let's see it with the Ninja Expand. I got faith in you, bro. Every second that Ninja Expand goes by, it's like frantically clawing value in for itself. So I'm really hoping that Control is going to be able to use that as an extra resource here, because let's face it, we all want a Game 3 here. So anyway, massive fight here being taken. A lot of the Terran units not strictly attacking here. Good Guardian shield usage. The Colossus gets chased back, but there's a little backstab assault squad from Terran here. Somehow the Colossus stays alive. Fantastic micro from the Protoss player, but more Terran reinforcements are trickling in. I think that this is a fight that Terran actually takes, but it's so close. It's so grindy. He focuses down the Immortal. He gets the Colossus too. Another Colossus arrives, but there's precious little to support it. Marauders overrunning. Additional Terran units are arriving, but they're quite far behind, so I think this represents a Protoss hold. But I like the pressure here from Control. I think his mind was in the right place here. But that was such a risky fight to take. Oh no, the Ghost! No! We get to listen to a Ghost die in midair. There he goes. And these Terran units are obviously going to get hoovered up. But I don't actually mind Control's position in this game. His army supply already higher than his opponents. He has a slight lead in workers, which by the time you factor in mules is massive. Does he know that he's got like double saturation at this CC still? What's going on at the main? And at the natural? Okay, so he could put 5 more at the natural and grab this location, and then, yeah, okay, he's doing it. He's doing it. I think he knows, but there's just nowhere better for these SCVs to be, really, so I guess, you know, sometimes this happens. It's suboptimal. But in the heat of a game, especially if you're in the finals of a tournament, you know, the pulse is racing. Honestly, I would be amazed if his hands aren't shaking a little bit. I find that whenever I play a game against a really good player, or if I'm playing for any kind of prestige or in a tournament, like my hands do shake, and it does impact my control, and I do start making decisions badly, or things that I think I've done, I haven't done because I misclicked or did them badly, and then I get back to my base and I'm like, why are there 50 probes just sitting here or something? You know, it does happen. It does happen. And you know, come on, we're not exactly casting GSL here. So anyway, I think we can forgive these players some errors. And look, he's transferring SCVs away now, so I think he knows. Let's take a look at the upgrades here, because that's going to be important. 2-2 finish for the bio here for the Terran player. He also has concussive shells, always good to remember that one. For the Protoss player, 1 armor, 2 weapons. So an upgrade lead for sure here for the Terran player, definitely. A couple of Vikings also getting mixed in is nice. He's actually going to catch this Oracle here. Another Oracle being dropped by Arnovich. He needs to maybe just tighten up his Oracle control a little bit, actually. I mean, in the first game, okay, sometimes your Oracle gets killed by a Widowmine for nothing. And in this this game he got some kills with his oracles. Okay, he finally finds out about the ninja base. This is known now. I'd lift this up, bro. So yeah, ninja base gets rumbled. But, you know, how far has he mined down these minerals? Like, down to... So he's mined about, like, at least 300 off of each of these patches. So this has paid for itself. That's cool. Okay, Protoss army here getting kind of pushy. Comes in, takes out a refinery there. 2 Colossus does give it some serious range. Is there a Warp Prism with this attack? I feel like there ought to be a Warp Prism somewhere. Let's bring up the units tab here. Okay, no Warp Prism at all, and we've got a big fight coming down here. Good force fields means that most of this Terran army just coming in piecemeal, feeding itself into the lasers of the Colossus. Guardian Shield also in a good position, but there might just be too much Terran with the upgrade advantage as well. The DPS is real. The Colossus, one of them goes down, and the Adepts are just melting away. They're melting, and now... This is an overrunning ball of angry Terran with Stim, and Arnovik in quite a bad position. He has a small amount of Protoss to work with here. Where's the Mothership Core? No, okay, the Mothership Core is transferring over now, but it wasn't ready. Okay, now the Photon Overcharge comes down. Now this fight starts looking a bit risky for the Terran player, and I think this counts as an overextension now for Control. He tried to push the issue, and he's still trading. Anytime you're trading bio with Stalkers, you're still kind of winning with Terran, because remember, those Stalkers are 50 gas apiece. Marines, no gas. Marauders, just 25. So yeah, I do like the push there. I think he probably overextended a bit, but you know, it's probably still fine. He's still mining, actually. You know, the ninja base actually prevails. I didn't see exactly what happened with that ninja base. He's mining off of, like, you know, a good 4 locations now. The main all but mined out. In fact, he's going to lift off the main, and I like this too. So that's pretty cool. Let's take a look at the work account. 66 probes, 82 SCVs. Honestly, 82 SCVs, probably too many. He's still building them, actually. I think for a Terran player, that's too many. He's also oversaturated at some of his bases, so I'm a little concerned now that when he reaches 200 supply, he'll have way too many SCVs. That is kind of too many, because with Terrans, I think you can stop at like 70 max, because you've got mules, haven't you? You know, so I feel like you don't need this many at all. It's an advantage with Terran, really, that you can have a higher army. Like when you're at 200, more of that supply is usually army than the other races. But anyway, a couple of Adepts going to come on in here. They're going to shut down the Ninja Expand again. But that's probably okay. A couple of Vikings going to come over. Remember, Vikings now, since the recent patch, they do +8 bonus damage to mechanical, which Adepts, by the way, are not. But I'm just saying, probes are mechanical, so I'd love to see some like Viking probe-based interaction at some point. That would be sweet. The Adepts are going to shade on across here into the 4th, or yeah, this is really the 4th. Still getting kills. Still getting kills. This is annoying. Although... I suppose I was just saying how the Terran player had too many SCVs, so maybe it's okay to lose a few. Massive Stim comes down, and the Terran ball rolls on into the Protoss ball. He's going to get the Mothership Core. He's going to get a Nexus. Time Warp desperately comes down, and actually is slowing down a lot of this Terran army. This Time Warp actually being really good. Nice, well, an okay split there from Control. Now he comes back in, a reasonable concave here. The Disruptor Ball's not doing too much. Colossus gets taken out by the Vikings, and this fight looks to be... There's so many Marauders! You can't fight this with Stalkers! I don't think you can fight this with Stalkers. And it looks like... I mean, the Terran army is dying, but here comes the next wave of reinforcements. He wants to overpower Arnovik right now. Control is putting everything into this attack, and he's kind of breaking him. He's actually kind of making it happen. He's going to overrun here into the 3rd. Here comes the Disruptor Ball. This needs to be big! Ah, but the Disruptor gets sniped, and it won't come through. Oh my god, my adrenaline was properly spiking because of the position on that. I thought it was going to be a proper, like, moment, you know, but it wasn't. And he's going to get a Nexus. And there are still a lot of probes just like... These probes don't know where they're going. He scans, he sees them. And I believe... I mean, that looks like game-ending damage to me. I'd be amazed if the Protoss player is able to stabilize here. I mean, he's mined out in the natural. He is mined out in the main. So he's just not mining. Arnovich going to GG at this moment. And we're going to have an ace match. Wow. Yeah, we're going to have a spicy game 3. Exciting. So, okay, let's bring us back onto my ugly face. Oh, that was some... When I signed up to cast StarCraft 2, this is, yeah, you know, I feel like life is delivering on that, and that makes me feel pretty happy. So yeah, good game 2 there between those two players. I imagine my invite for game 3 will be following momentarily, and yep, here it is. So we're going to go straight into game 3, which, as I recall, this is going to be on Habitation Station, I think. Which, hey. You know, shout out in chat if you remember the good old Gangnam style opening from Habitation Station. Gangnam opening, by the way. Okay, so there's a gold base on this map, which is pretty close by air, and there was a time when Protoss players were just... Terran players were just lifting off their starting CC and moving it to the gold base, and just starting with a gold base and about, I don't know, maybe a 30-second flight time disadvantage. And if you walled that off with barracks against Zerg, it was filth. Like, it was so hard for the Zerg player to beat that. I mean, they figured it out in the end, and after a while it just became like another thing players could do that wasn't like super broken. But I'm just being told by the players that they're actually going to go for a short break here, and that's fine, because whatever, we can wait for them. So yeah, Gangnam Style openings, they were, it used to be called Gangnam Style as well, because as I recall, and this might not be factually accurate, but Gangnam is, obviously it's a song, Gangnam Style, but it's also, there's the Gangnam region of Seoul, which is like a very affluent, very wealthy region. I guess it would be the loose equivalent of like Chelsea or somewhere in London. I don't really know, but it's quite wealthy and quite affluent. So by moving your command center into where the money was, you know, that was like moving into Gangnam, you know what I mean? I think that's why it was called that. So anyway, I'd love to see an opening like that. I don't know if it works in Legacy of the Void. It probably doesn't, because you're compounding the disadvantage. Because you start off with 12 workers, not 6, you're losing that 30-second flight time disadvantage. Like, you're losing so much. Although, having said that, you know, the gold base will also pay off more as well, so... I don't know. I don't know if that still works. Maybe they've tweaked it so you can't do that. So, anyway... Wow. Really looking forward to seeing a final ace match here between these two players. To recap, for those of you just joining us, which, by the way, we're up to like 63 viewers. Woo! Thank you very much for spending your time with me, Magpie842. I tell you what, let's just do a little bit of shameless self-promotion. You can find more of my stuff. I cast Company of Heroes 2 and I cast Homeworld Deserts of Karak, and I've just started casting StarCraft. You can find more stuff from me at youtube.com/Magpie842. You're obviously here on the Twitch. You can also follow my stuff at Twitter. It's at Twitter. It's at MagpieCaster is what it is, at MagpieCaster. Same on Facebook. It's at MagpieCaster. Can you believe, right? My name, my casting name, my like online personality name, if you like, is Magpie842. And can you believe that somebody had already taken that on Skype and Twitter? Like, who are these people? Anyway. Okay, yay. So, okay, game 3 is just now beginning. So, yeah, let's bring us on into the game. Feeling it now. Feeling it after these other things. For me, by the way, I'm just going to, whilst the game loads in, I'm just going to say, casting StarCraft 2 has been a long time coming. It's been a game which I've been very passionate about, and I've really enjoyed watching for 6-7 years, you know, since the beta, since the Wings of Liberty beta. So, it's just, this is my first time doing it. It's nice to be in the moment and love it. I just thought I'd share that randomly. Anyway, spawning in the west, playing as the Red Protoss, demonstrating so far favouring with fast nexuses into Stargates, into Oracles. That seems to be his go-to build right now in PvT. It is going to be none other than Arnovik. And spawning in the east, playing as the Yellow Terran, getting off to a pretty bad game 1, but avenging himself and Hal with some massive bio-based aggression and a sweet upgrade lead, and a ninja base, actually, in game 2. It is going to be 7X's Control. So, this is definitely a weird map. So what I was saying before about the Gangnam Style thing, by the way, for those of you who are like interested in that, so what you do right at the start here, you just lift off this command center, fly it over here, land it here, and then you can mine the golden minerals, okay? Now, I wouldn't recommend it even back in the day against Protoss. They just have more things to do that makes that bad, basically. Protoss has more stuff that makes the Gangnam opening bad. But against Zerg, it was pretty tough. It was pretty tough. So I don't know if that's still a thing that players can do. As I said, I think starting off with 12 workers, I mean, it means that you lose a lot of more resources for your flying overtime, but it also means that you get more resources when you land because you've got 12 SCVs, so I don't know if people are messing around with Gangnam openings. I really don't know. It was called the Sinistro in chat as well. Shout out to you, buddy. Yeah, Sinistro saying that that's also called the Marine King opening, so I guess maybe he was one of the players who used, abused, typified, or maybe even came up with that himself. I'm not sure. But anyway. SCV going to be being super annoying. No, sorry, Probe going to be being super annoying. The SCV just wants to put down a command center. There we go. I think Probes, by the way, have to get the award for probably the most annoying unit in StarCraft. Like, they are... Protoss start with 12 of these bastards, okay? 12 of them. And they have 20 shields, which regenerates really fast. And a single unchecked probe can put down any number of buildings very quickly. So, you know, I'm just saying, if any of the workers in StarCraft is the scariest, okay, it's up for discussion. Which is the scariest worker, you know? Zerg drones can regenerate health and will win a straight-up fisticuffs with any of the other races. SCVs have 45 HP and can repair themselves. And you know... and probes have 20 shields and can put down buildings and can single-handedly defeat your entire game by doing a cannon rush. So, I don't know. For me, I think probes are the most scary, but that's just me. Anyway, here comes the Reaper. He's going to come for a scout about here. Sees the Nexus, probably going to see the Stargate as well. Arnovic here doing what looks to be the same build that he did in the last 2 games, and I guess that's okay. This is only a best of 3. It never feels that great when you do the same build 3 times in a row against the same players. Like, it just never feels good in any RTS. But it is a good build. He did take good game 1, and he had a pretty good game 2, so I don't blame him for trying this again. Whoops, let's bring up the production tab. Sorry about that, guys. So yeah, I imagine this game's going to look quite similar, because it looks to me like Control is also settling in. Actually, this is an early eBay. Okay, he's going for a missile turret. And do I hear Widow Mines? Okay, so this is what I mean about running the same build 3 times in a row. Like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, before he went Starport before eBay. So now we've got eBay coming down, +1 weapons, and we've got missile turrets popping up. So I would be amazed if the Oracle can do anything. But look at this, there's a 3rd Nexus coming out of Arnovic. Wow, he's getting so greedy. Now he knows that that Reaper has left town. Wow, that is turbo greedy. If the Terran gets wind of that in the next, like, 20 seconds, there could be trouble, but I don't think he's going to get wind of it, so... You know, because what you can do as a Terran player then is just throw down 2 more barracks, throw down 2 more reactors, get a tech lab on that first barracks, get stim, push on in for damage. You can tell that I like attacking, can't you? Anyway, here comes the Oracle, going to pick off 1 SCV, going to get another here, probably going to... Oh, he sees the Widow Mine very nicely. He sees the other Widow Mine as well, so Arnovic here, absolutely on top of it with the Oracles. That's really nice. It's good to see. So he gets 2 SCVs, I think. That was just 2. Yeah, 2 SCVs, nothing to write home about at all. And gets on out of there. He didn't even really get over here and see anything really that was going on, but... Okay, yeah, wow. What the hell? Does he know? Okay, wow. Okay, so Control doesn't know about this Nexus, but he's kind of doing what I'd expect him to do if he did know. So 2 more racks, getting reactors on them, getting stim on this first tech lab. I love it when players make it look like I know what I'm talking about. It's so nice of them. I tip my hat to you, good Sir Control. You are actually making my first time casting StarCraft 2 feel like it's not going terribly, so that's awesome. Yeah, so I think he's going to have a little bit of a push here for the Protoss player. I mean, what sort of production do we have? 3 gateways and a Stargate. Is that it? That is it. 3 gateways and a Stargate. So, This is going to be... This could be quite the push from the Terran player. So look to see the Terran army supply mount up quite quickly once these racks are online. Actually, he's got double tech lab. Because he's playing against Protoss, of course. Yeah, against Protoss, the double tech lab makes a lot of sense. Not only does this enable you to grab combat shield at the same time you're grabbing stim, but it also allows you to grab a lot more Marauders. And Marauders, of course, historically, you know, they deal very good bonus damage to armored units, and Protoss has a lot of armored units that they make from their gateways, and actually most Protoss military units are armored, so... So the Marauder has historically been a strong choice against them. So of course I do like the double tech lab, not as I suggested, the double reactor. So that's fine, that's cool. Reactor going to be coming up for this Starfort as well. +1 armor also coming now. So this is going to be a 1-1 timing push with stim and combat shields here for the Terran player, who's also garrisoning the watchtower. He wants to make sure that nothing bad is coming his way. So yeah. That's going to be the plan here. 1-1 timing push with stim, combat shields, and even concussive shells, actually, perhaps. He's even going to have a siege tank with this. No medevacs, though. How much gas does he have? I would love to see Control just donk 2 medevacs onto the tab right now. Okay, there he goes. Ha! Yes! Making me look like I know what I'm casting. Oracle here gets caught out. Arnovic, man, losing these Oracles. They're a hard unit to keep alive sometimes, but I feel like you shouldn't be flying them around the open that much, I guess, unless you've got your eyes on them. Anyway, so this is a lot of adepts, which actually lights. So this heavy Marauder count isn't actually going to help so much against the adepts. And here he comes. He's going to siege up the tank here. The adepts are going to shade in. Now, is he going to let the shade finish? You have to not, right? Yeah, he doesn't. Yeah. Okay, one of the Phoenixes gets turbo low, so if the Phoenix can pick up the siege tanks, then this fight gets a ton easier for the Protoss player. The Terran player doesn't have to rush here. Whoa, don't rush, buddy, don't rush. Because any shot that he takes off of these pylons is just free damage right now, so he just wants to wait, use the siege tanks to wear down his opponent, get these Widow Mines into position. These Widow Mines are a little bit precarious even. Okay, here come the Shades. The Protoss player is thinking about this, and he's not going to do it. Of course, that makes a lot of sense to me. Picks off another pylon. Medevac finally arrives, so now there's some healing for this army. That stim, by the way, was on the whole army, and there's only one Medevac, so he had to kind of commit to get some damage there. Another Medevac comes in, another siege tank comes in. The siege tanks get lifted. The Terran army gets surrounded, and it does get completely taken apart. There was just too many adepts there, way too many. And I think Resonating Glaives is done. Let's just quickly check on the upgrades. Upgrades. Yeah, Resonating Glaives is definitely done. So, pardon me. So that was a brutal take by Arnavik, a convincing defense. Now there is a Liberator, there's a Siege Tank, and I like the positioning so far on this Siege Tank. Yeah. So the Terran player is like all set. He's even salvaged back his third here, so it's not exposed. So this is going to be tough. If the Protoss player wants to push the issue here, it's tough. But he doesn't have to push the issue, because he's up on 3 mining locations right now, so all he has to do is control this map. Also, not a lot in this army shoots up, so this CC is like weirdly safe. Yeah, it's just going to sort of float back. Wow! And seeing that the Protoss army was down here to the south, the Terran player is just going to use this opportunity to have a quick ninja stim forward. He needs to get back up the ramp. No! He gets force-fielded down there. The Medevacs are going to grab what they can, but that was some heavy losses there for the Terran army. Siege Tank gets deployed in a ludicrously far forward position here. Yeah, that gets picked up immediately by the Phoenixes. And now we're just left with Bio fighting a superior number of Protoss units here, with a Warp Prism reinforcing with 3 bases. This is starting to look like a bit of a lock here for Arnavik. Control undoubtedly up against the ropes here, but he's not dead, not yet. He still has an upgrade lead, I think. Let's just check those upgrades. Yeah, he still has an upgrade lead. He has 1-1. No, I take that back. Sorry, upgrades absolutely even. Sorry, but he's going for 2-2. I'm not sure if 2-2 is the way forward here. So Warp Prism here gets some adepts up into the main. Some SCVs were destroyed there, but not not really very many. Sorry. And okay, so Arnavik pushes back at this point. I think, did he lose his Warp Prism? Yeah, losing his Warp Prism pretty much sums the end of that aggression. So he lost the Warp Prism coming up to the north. I think possibly, yeah, the missile turret here almost certainly got it, with a kill on that missile turret. So yeah, that gets that one. A couple of Marines here as well. Haven't been rallied, but they'll be fine. And this means that Control is able to break the potential lock here, and all it takes is losing that Warp Prism. They are so pivotal. Like, and also remember, in the last patch, Warp Prisms now have like 20 less health than they used to. So that unit for the Protoss now even more fragile than it was before. Which I suppose to everybody except Protoss players, it felt like it was infuriatingly tough and wasn't fragile at all. But as a Protoss player, I can tell you, Warp Prisms are very fragile, okay? They're very fragile. No Protoss bias. Hashtag straight casting for the win. So anyway, yeah, a lot of racks here now up for Control here. His production ramping up nicely. I'd like him to get a bit more defense up in the main. One damaged missile turret won't hold off any kind of determined shenaniganry from a Protoss player. Let's see, there's a couple of Protoss units just patrolling around the map. Another Warp Prism moving out as well, and that is rallied towards the Terran player's base. So this is probably going to be the next point of contention. This Warp Prism here going to be the catalyst for the next fights here. Protoss player going to be grabbing a 4th Nexus. I haven't really checked the tech for some time. Sorry, I haven't had the production tab up either. That's my bad. So let's take a looky here. He's got Templar Archives, and I believe, has he got Storm researched? Maybe. The Warp Prism flies over that missile turret, has its shield stripped, going to fall back to this location here, and probably warp in a few units there. The Protoss army looking reasonable, using those High Templar to create some Archons here. Oh yeah, was Storm researched? Okay, there is no Storm, so for now, those High Templar just for Archons, and I don't mind that at all. Terran army going to move on out to the south here. There's a good Liberator count. A mass stim, though. Control, you've got to be careful with that, bro. Oh no! And the Archons here are just going to be so good. The AoE damage probably going to do a number on the Liberators here. The Medevacs also sort of a little bit hung out. This Terran army desperately trying to get as much damage as it can do, but there's not very many Medevacs, and the Medevacs are very wounded, and, you know, he's already stimmed twice on these units, so he can't really stay and fight. I don't know about the stim tactics there from Control. Like, stimming your whole army like that feels good and can be really cool, but it's not always the best route. And that time it certainly didn't feel like it. These Phoenixes just looking to bite the heels of these Medevacs, perhaps. But not going to happen. Some Adepts are going to make their way into the natural, just shading in here, and that's annoying. Some SCVs are going to start dying. Meanwhile, the Warp Prism comes into the main. Sorry, the Adepts are in the natural, not the main, my bad. So, okay, Marines here are going to do their best against the Warp Prism. A couple of Liberators, actually, is definitely going to shut this out. So nicely done there. How many SCVs were killed behind this? Like, only about another 5 or so, so that's fine. That is absolutely fine for the Terran player. I mean, it's not what you want, but it is fine. Protoss player here going to get quite aggressive. Siege tank kind of left exposed. The Terran army looking a little bit overstimmed here. Still not enough medivacs either to repair it up. Force field's going to come down here, and that is going to enable the Protoss army to get out of here safely, which is just as well, because this Protoss army, I mean, look at the army supply. What are we at? Okay, well, this army definitely looks smaller, so the Protoss players' units are not all in one place right now. That looks like a scary amount of bio, to be honest. What are the upgrades now? 2-2. Extended Thermal Lance is coming. 3-3 is actually half done for the Terran player. That's interesting. Yeah, Extended Thermal Lance on the way. Building Colossus 2 at a time, so going to be using Colossus tech here from Arnovic. And, yeah, a remarkably standard style from both of these players, playing all 3 of their games in a very straight-up fashion. And we're going to see that now again. It's going to be 4-base versus 4-base, the clash of ages. Obviously, one of these bases is a gold, though, here for the Terran player, so that's going to be useful. Okay, so the army's right now jockeying for position in mid. Looks like Control going to be pushing forwards. Arnovic going to give him the respect for now, although, I mean, you could probably quite happily engage in here. He's got money. He's got enough for, like, 3, 4, 5... Yeah, he's actually got some force fields in that army. So he's going to have quite a lot of control over how this Terran army is able to move. And we've seen the force fields so far in this series been quite good for Arnovic. They've actually played quite a large role in some of the bigger engagements. So, yeah, I like the force field. Okay, so here comes the Protoss army, kind of engaging in an awkward way. Massive Terran concave. I don't think Arnovic knew that he was walking into the Terran army there. Actually, he's going to get a weird bit split up on the retreat, which means that the Stalkers are exposed. Oh my god, that was like 10 Stalkers or so. That was at least 8 to 10 Stalkers getting chipped off for Nout there. Arnovic, buddy, you gotta be careful now. He's down at 95 army supply under 132. The Terran, like, wrecking ball here, getting bigger. He needs more medevacs, though. He just keeps stimming everything, and these poor medevacs are, like, dry. Okay, a couple more coming in here, but yeah, he needs all the medevac he can get in there. Gonna be trying to take a 5th down here as well, which I do like. Control, making sure that the wheels are still turning on his macro machine. That's always nice. Protoss army, 4 Colossus is a lot. Oh my god, the Terran player's just gonna stim and run in! There's force fields in Colossus here, mate. You have to be so careful. Okay, he gets an Immortal. He's just going to keep coming in. This is a losing fight. I can't help but feel you lose if you're Terran. Yeah. Come on, buddy. Stay back, I think. Running in there against that many Colossus with this army, I mean, you have to come in from multiple angles or something. He's going to get a Nexus for... Whoa, he's going to get a Nexus for his troubles. I need to turn off border scrolling. And he's also going to get taken apart here in the north. A lot of Terran units getting gunned down as they try to retreat. Stalkers blinking forward to just snatch a few more. Luckily, though, the medevacs, which are key, they do escape. And as a Terran player, you're kind of okay losing Marauders and Marines. Like, as long as it's not all of them, you're probably okay with that. Interesting that Control is going to try and fall back with this, like, tendril of his forces. By the way, little bit of a Phoenix is doing some harass. Oh goodness me, these guys get rinsed. Okay, so what I was thinking though, so why did Control? He fell back with the northern half of his army. I feel like the army here in the south, what he should have done, instead of coming in this direction, he should have immediately stimmed and gone for an uppercut into the 3rd. And I reckon he probably could have got the Nexus, because the Protoss army was all hanging out over here, killing some dudes. So that was a potential route there that could have got some extra damage there for Control. Possibly. I mean, far be it for me to question his judgment, though, really. These guys both far better players than I. But anyway... Okay, so the Terran player's going to be getting back on his feet, re-rallies here. Medevacs are actually being able to get some energy on them now, so he can stim a little bit now, which is nice. Here comes the Protoss force, though. 4 Colossus, we've got an Archon. There are Disruptors as well, and Disruptor Colossus is so hard to deal with. Like, it's just so hard. But, I mean, having said that, apart from the Archon, there's not many Stalkers, there's not many Zealots. Have these Zealots got legs? Yeah, Zealot legs are done. Whoa, the Colossus here getting a little bit aggro, but yeah, here they come. Psystorm Research is actually coming up now for the Protoss player. And the upgrade lead is going to close pretty soon, I think, because the Protoss player is, yeah, he's going to be coming up to 3 armor now. Taking another nice fight with the, the Purification Nova gets in for a great hit. Force Field's in a fantastic position. The Colossus just scything down Terran units here. There's a very inefficient trade for the Terran player, but 2 Liberators getting set up in a nice position enables him to force the Colossus back, and he's taken out all of the supporting units. So this is now 4 Colossus who are with their backs up against a wall. There are Vikings here, so he doesn't even have to feed these bio in if he doesn't want to. I suppose he wanted to protect the SCVs, and that does make a lot of sense. So a very nice defend there from Control. Actually, I thought that that fight was looking terrible for him, but he just had enough bio, was able to get around the force fields, was able to get around, and you know, the preservation of the Colossi was great there from Arnovic, but in the end they were all that was left, and without the support they go down fast. So now it's Control moving out. He doesn't want to wait to remax, he wants to move out now. 98 army supply over 39, looking pretty peachy right now for the Terran player. Punching in at the 4th base location. The Protoss, by the way, pretty much not mining actually at all, because we're like 17 minutes into this game now, and he's like still on his first 3 locations. He has not been able to retake this one. I feel like he should try for a desperate gold expand. He has like, okay, he doesn't have the minerals actually. And Phoenix, Hero Phoenix gets a Liberator there. That's nice. But this is not enough Protoss. You know, that is a scan which the Terran player will be very happy with. So, okay, Psystorm is done though. How many storms we got here? Actually, we have enough storms here. There's enough storms to make a difference here. Good storm. Gets a few Terran units there. But, I mean, the Terran units are poking at the Nexus. They're coming in across a wide front. Let's zoom out a little bit so we can fit all of the action on the screen here. There's even, like, stray Marines killing probes up in the north. And that's usually really bad. I think we're probably in the closing seconds of this game here as Control gonna just force his way in. The Vikings have landed using their extra damage versus mechanical there, I think, against Stalkers. Stalkers are mechanical, right? Yeah, I want to say that they're mechanical. Comes on in, taking out pylons. What can be done here for the Protoss player? I feel like there's nothing left. Hero squad of Zealots fighting to the last here, but I don't think it's actually going to be enough to turn the tide. Arnovic here, ever the mannered player, going to call out the GG well played, and congratulations to his opponent Control, who has in this season, in this series, bested him. And that was a fantastic finals there. I felt like that was really good fun. Okay, so we didn't see too much variety in terms of the builds that the two players chose to deploy, but we did see, you know, 3 pretty good games there between the players, and it's always nice when a series goes to 3. You know, I feel like those two players were very well matched, and I would definitely cast them both again with pleasure. Yes, so thank you very much to our players there. Congratulations once again to Control for winning himself this Go4 StarCraft 2 tournament. Now, if you all out there have enjoyed this tournament, if you've enjoyed this cast, you can catch more StarCraft 2 action. The Go4 StarCraft 2 tournament continues on Sunday. It starts at 1400 CET, that's 1300 GMT. So if you fancy yourself some more StarCraft on Sunday, definitely come hang out. I'll be casting it. I'm Magpie842. You can find more from me at youtube.com/Magpie842, Twitch at MagpieCaster, Facebook at MagpieCaster. And before I sign off here, I would like to say thank you very much to Sinistro for helping organize Go4 StarCraft 2, and also for helping get me into a place where I can start casting these games. That's been really, really cool. Thank you very much also to, I think it's Titich is how you would pronounce that, who is the other admin who's been helping me out a lot today. So thank you very much for your help getting me into games and helping explain the process for casting this tournament. It's been a learning process, but I feel like I've learned a lot. I feel like my confidence in casting StarCraft 2 has come on a long way over the course of just this very short evening. So yeah, finally, thank you very much to all of you for tuning in. 62 is what we're on for viewers right now, which is like way more than I ever thought I would get. So I really hope that you've all enjoyed yourself. I hope that you've all enjoyed me as a caster. If you have any feedback regarding my casts, it would be very highly valued. You can submit that on the YouTube channel in the comments. You can just send me a message on Twitch, or you can email me at magpiereplays, all one word, at gmail.com. And yeah, definitely, I'm very much a novice caster looking to improve, so always looking for feedback. And I believe that actually concludes this cast. Thank you very much for watching. I don't think I've missed anyone, so yeah, have a good night, everybody. Have a good night. See you next time.